my second full day, and unfortunately my last full day on the Perhentian Islands this morning. We had another pretty hectic storm last night. I fell asleep well before it started, but it actually woke me up around midnight. I have never heard thunder so loud. Granted, could be because I'm in a tent. But same thing happened when I went to sleep. I left this open to get some fresh air because it wasn't raining. But then when I woke up and it was storming, I looked and it was already closed. So we've got a sneaky little someone who's keeping me nice and dry in there. For breakfast this morning, I started off with some fried rice. They had swapped that out with the rice noodles, which was a little bit sad. And then, of course, my big English breakfast. So I am officially trying to avenge myself this morning by doing that jungle trek that I couldn't find. However, I'm going to reverse engineer it and I'm going to go from this end to the other end. The only downside of this is that I was told that this way is a lot harder, it's a lot steeper. However, I actually question if it's probably easier because I often find with these sorts of things going down is actually a lot harder on like your knees and ankles. So maybe it is for the best. And then I will know where the exit/entrance is so I can do it the other way maybe this afternoon when I come back. But the plan for today is to do that trek across to the other side of this island, and it's a little bit closer to the small island because I'm on the big island, and that way it's a lot cheaper to get a water taxi from the big island to the small island. So again, I was using my big trusty map to get across the island. So I was starting there at Empire, across to Tulakiki, water taxi across to the fisherman's village, and then walking all the way up to Coral Bay.
Do you know where the jungle trek is? Just this way? Thank you so much. Well, this must be the entrance. So let's find out if I make it. I am sweating everywhere. Everywhere it is possible to sweat. It is so humid. And this is really hard. I don't know if you can see, but you can kind of see the beach down there. I've hiked all that way. And I don't even know if I'm at the top yet.
This trek was honestly a lot harder than I was led to believe. It wasn't too bad, but I did have a bit of a trip. My hand landed on a thorn. Luckily, I actually had my towel in my hand, so the towel took most of the brunt, but it did still hurt a little bit. Actually made it to the end, but tell me, how was I supposed to find this on my own? This is the entrance. So, like, you wouldn't know. And this is it. So come with me, let's walk, and I'll show you where I got to yesterday, and then I'll show you where I got lost. So that's one of the entrances, which, as you can see, it's just some Sharpie on an orange fence, not super obvious. However, this is the entrance that I found not yesterday, the day before. I do have to correct myself on that. And this building in a minute that you'll see says Tulakiki, which is what it says on the little map I was using. So I knew I was sort of on the right track. So I went through that little opening, but from that opening all the way down to where the actual trek is, be so for real, would you have found that on your own? So now that that's all cleared up, it's time to grab the taxi over to the small island. The really annoying thing about the water taxis is you have to pay a minimum of 2 people. So every time I caught one, I had to pay double.
Fisherman's village. Just one. I pay for 2 though. How much? 20. 20? Perfect. Yeah. Thank you.
Arriving in the fisherman's village, the first thing I noticed was this sign that just speaks about modesty in the village, like not wearing your swimmers and things like that. Something that I didn't know before coming to Malaysia is that 65% of their population is Islamic. Backpackers tend to stay in the fisherman's village due to its more affordable accommodation. I believe it is the only place on either island where locals actually live permanently, as it is an old fishing village, hence the name. This was the start of the jungle trek I was led to. It was absolutely beautiful. I got both jungle and water views. On the map, it looks more inland, but this one was along the coast, stopping at beautiful beaches. So I'm not sure if it is the original trek I set out to do, but regardless, it got me to where I needed to be and stopped off at places like this where I had the beach to myself.
I think I've made it.
Welcome to Coral Bay. I got talking to a girl at dinner last night and she said that the snorkeling here was really good, so let's check it out for ourselves. And time for the big finale, this incredible leaf that I thought was a fish. It was finally time for lunch. I ordered some banana fritters and a bottle of water, which came to $1.77. And then I had a little play on this swing, and I decided I would trek back across to the other side of the island to go to Long Beach, which is really popular. However, I wasn't there for the beach. I was actually there because I'd heard there was a hike up to a windmill. So you can sort of see there to the right of the flag is like a big pole, and then to the right of that is a windmill. It's hard to see.
Okay, so I think I found it. I hope I found it, because if you would believe me, I got lost. I walked up this really steep hill and it was directly in the sun, just to find that the path maps was telling me existed does not exist. However, this is pretty full on for being like 30 something degrees and so bloody humid.
This section of the hike was a little interesting. I had to keep jumping back and forth over the gap to get up.
I think the thing that's so like nerve-wracking about these treks and stuff is that there's no one else ever on these trails. Like, I think the one I went to, was it this morning, didn't see a single other person on it. The one I did on my first day, I saw 2 people on it, but they were together and they looked like they might have been locals. I don't think they were tourists. So like, you just don't know if it's the right way.
At this section, I thought that I had reached the top, but it's obviously not a windmill, so I had to keep going. Lucky the top wasn't too far off. Once I got there, I just had to search for the nice lookout.
Finally at the top. Oh, it was a bit of an effort to get here, but the view is pretty beautiful. The only thing is it's come over quite overcast, which is such a shame, because I've seen photos of it when it's beautiful and sunny. It looks amazing. However, on the walk up, I was hearing some thunder and the clouds are coming over really thick, heavy and dark. So I am going to try and get down as quick as possible because I'm still on the small island. I need to get back to the main island, which is where I'm staying. So I'm going to try and get back as quick as possible to make it on a taxi to get across, because if I'm stuck here the night, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like maybe 2 minutes ago and it's already gotten so dark and so windy and cold. So I made it down just in the nick of time because look at this. It is torrential. Now I'm sitting in a water taxi stand. I said, will the water taxis run? Because like I'm not stupid, I know like it's probably not safe to go in this, but like just wanted to get a gauge, like am I stuck here or what's gonna happen? And he said how many person? I said one, and he looked at me and I said, I'll pay double, I'll pay you double. He said, okay, we'll wait until the rain's over. But I've checked the weather app and the rain's not ending until 9 p.m. tonight, so we'll see what happens.
It was not looking good. I thought for sure I'd be spending the night on Long Beach alone. But he said to me, as long as the wind and the water settles, we'll be good to go. And it did. It cleared. I was so happy. So as soon as it did, he made a phone call to a friend and we were off. I did get a special treat listening to some tunes en route. I was in the boat ready to go. Everyone that drove past asked us where we were going, and when we said where we were going, they all laughed at us. The water was so rough. I was honestly getting really nervous, especially as we approached Shark Point. I saw the sharks in there. I don't want to go swimming with them right now. However, my little water taxi driver, he was the man. He was the cowboy of the seas, and I knew he was going to keep me safe. My man got me back safe and sound. It was finally time to have a shower. I would say to warm up. However, what you missed in the deleted footage is that the showers here do not have hot water, so it was a nice cold shower. To finish off, I had some lovely prawn toast for dinner.
I'm finally in bed. It was a very, very exhausting day, as I'm sure you could tell. I think the worst part was that when I got back, I was saturated, I was cold, and what I wanted more than anything was a nice hot shower to warm me up, but there's only cold water here. But these are some of my favorite things about travel. You experience things that you would never experience anywhere else. You get out of your comfort zone. Like, that was certainly not comfortable. I was scared. And you know, if I hadn't been caught in the rain, I wouldn't have been stuck at that taxi stand and got chatting to the guy that ran it. He was so lovely. He was telling me that he works every day. He lives over on the main island, like back where the jetty is, where I came from, and he travels over here and sleeps on the island to feed his family. However, I didn't know this, but they have an off season where the island completely shuts down, both islands, as it's typhoon season. So he said he gets to spend so much time with his family then. He said they love to go to Thailand to eat. He said sometimes they'll just drive up to the border to eat and then come home because it's just so close for them. Yeah, he taught me so much and it was so cool. So sometimes these negative things can bring about other positive things, you know, and I'm really grateful for that.
Thank you so much for watching. Come back tomorrow to see what else I get up to.